Welcome. Thank you for coming, everyone. This is the world premiere of Prolific, and we are so happy you could join us. We started this show to shine a light on creative entrepreneurs who are pushing the boundaries of their industry by thinking and acting big. I am your host, Colin Morris, and it is my personal hope that you fall in love with these wonderful people who so graciously give their time and ideas to us, and that you feel inspired to pursue your own creative journeys. We have just a few announcements before we get into the actual show. So first of all, I would like to draw your attention to KCAD. This is an organization we're going to sponsor with our show. For now, we're going to start as a monthly show, but KCAD is a local organization, Kingston Community Arts and Design, that is providing really affordable opportunities for people to learn art. It's also providing a studio space, a gallery space for up-and-coming artists who are just getting started and need a place to show. And frankly, they're doing great stuff in this town, and they're only getting started. So we want to support them with every stream, so all donations, all proceeds are going to KCAD. I'd also like to thank our sponsors. This is TriArt Manufacturing. First, a huge thank you to Evan for jumping right on board with us. He's been a great local supporter in this community with TriArt. TriArt is a family-run company whose goal is to produce the best art products possible for artists for every level of expression. These products include acrylic, oil, ink, watercolor, tempera, and specialty paint lines for professionals to beginner painters. So everyone, from professionals to beginner painters. Recently, they have made a major expansion, I can't even believe this number, into a new 160,000-foot facility. That's crazy. That doesn't happen in this town, but it does. You didn't even know. And allowing them to expand into greater products and services to fulfill the needs of their artist clients. They proudly help to build and connect our creative community locally, and we are proud to have them as our sponsor. You can find TriArt products in many art supply stores or directly from their website. Find a store near you with their store locator on their website. Let's hear it for TriArt. Awesome. We do have one more sponsor. Our second sponsor is, well, us. Kingston Frameworks. Kingston Frameworks is the home of the ultimate custom framing experience, including fine giclée printing of your photos and artworks. In May 2022, we launched our wholesale program with the mission to make artists' lives better. Artists, galleries, and even musicians and other art creators have launched successful print products to their audience, giving them access to whole new markets and streams of income. We work with creative professionals all over Canada, the US, and the world at large. We print and ship their works on fine art papers, canvas, acrylic face mounts, aluminum mounts, and even framed prints directly to you or your clients. Create your customized and valued art products with Kingston Frameworks Wholesale and expand your art business. Okay, I swear this is the most talking I'm going to do all night. Thank you. Let's hear for Kingston Frameworks. All right. Because the world premiere, as you know, didn't quite stream. We're recording this live. We're going to put this out to the world, but we're going to stream in the future. And we will be doing live giveaways, but we're going to save the giveaways for our special audience members who've joined us tonight, and we'll make sure that giveaways come to you on the stream in the future. All right, so with no further cue cards with cheesy graphics on them, not cheesy, brands, logos. Yeah, thanks. We're going to get started, and I'm going to introduce our first guest for Prolific. Liza Zerkovskaya is the curator on the go, and our first guest for our world premiere of Prolific. She hails from Russia, moved to Canada in 2010, now living in Toronto. She immigrated here from Russia as a child, where she studied arts of all kinds from a very young age. Liza earned her bachelor's degree in fine arts, art history, and human geography from the University of Toronto, before going on to achieve her master's degree in criticism and curatorial practice, and in 2019 gained a public relations certificate from the Social School. While studying for her master's, she managed a Toronto gallery, taking care of exhibitions, events, working with artists and clients, and many other crucial management tasks. In 2018, she launched her own curatorial practice, the Curator on the Go, which I understand is a bit of an older term, even before that, so it goes way back, but we'll talk about that in a bit, while holding down her full-time work at the gallery. So she's got her hands in many pots already. Doesn't stop there. She also worked with 2 other prestigious Toronto art galleries since, including the Arte Gallery and the Bauchi Gallery. In 2019, she launched Curator on the Go podcast. You can check out her show. I am the most recent guest. Thank you for having me. Where she interviews artists and discusses their art and their career, illuminating the countless ways you can succeed as an artist today. In 2020, when the pandemic shut everything down and art galleries were closed, Lisa made the decision to also open her own online gallery known as Kefi, that's K-E-F-I, Art Galleries. You can check that out online. 41 incredibly talented artists already represented on there. Definitely worth a look. So the goal of Prolific is to learn from the insights that prolific people like Lisa have to share with us to enrich our lives. And so please join me. Welcome, Lisa Zurkowskaya.
Thank you.
We have had quite the day together so far. Lisa came down from Toronto. She met with all kinds of artists today, giving coaching. How's your day been?
Yeah, it's been a really exciting day right from the beginning. I usually don't wake up at 5 in the morning, so it was a special day for me. If I have a chance, I will usually sleep until like 10 or 11. My brain doesn't work in the mornings, but it was a very exciting trip. Like, I've never been to Kingston. It's a beautiful town, beautiful, charming architecture. So I had the first hour of being here, actually going to local galleries too, before I started my day. And then I had consultations with 4 amazing artists. That went really great. Lots of amazing tips we talked about and shared lots of possibilities for them. And I gave a lot of homework for them to do.
I heard some of it. It was very good. Before we jump into the big question of your creative entrepreneurial career, I wanted to get some insights onto who you are. So if I could give you tickets to a show of any kind, this could be a concert, a ballet, Broadway musical, is there one in particular you'd like to see?
It's a good question. And honestly, if you give me a ticket to any art fair, I will go. Even if it's, I don't know, in London, Paris, anywhere, I will make a trip out of it.
What is an art fair? When we talk about, no, I know. I see art fairs here. What do they do in Paris? Is it any different? Like, is it just outdoor tables like we do here? Is it the same everywhere else?
There are different kinds of them even here.
Yeah.
And you should know.
Yes. No, I know. I go to them.
Yes, but they're more like, the scale is usually bigger.
Okay.
And it's usually galleries and artists or just galleries.
Okay.
And they're usually really fun to visit.
Okay, I think I'm going to put on my list of things to do.
Yes,
Checking out some more. Maybe in other countries too. That sounds pretty fun. So everyone has different approaches to life and creative careers. Some have a strong vision of what they want and know how to go and get it. Others find it more of like a winding path that they sort of discover their way along. How would you describe your journey so far?
My journey wasn't a decision that I made like right away. I want to be a curator. So I came here, got into university, I did art history, and I'm like, oh, when I was graduating, do I want to be an art teacher for the rest of my life, or do I want to do something else? And kind of like, I love art history. I can talk about art forever. You're not going to stop me if I start. But I was like, I want to see what other opportunities are there, because I'm new. I'm in Toronto. I've never visited any like actual commercial galleries. What's going on in the city? So I checked Craigslist. I think Craigslist was a thing at that time. And there was an ad for an internship in a commercial gallery. So I'm like, yay. Okay, I have to apply. I have to see. So I got in. I'm going on my interview dressed very, very official, like it's a commercial gallery. Walk into the gallery, and the artist who owned the gallery was handing me a glass of champagne. And I'm like, is this an interview or what's going on? Like, you're not going to expect someone hand you a glass of a champagne on your interview day. Interview went well. I stayed there. This was the gallery I was managing when I was doing my master's degree. So I stayed with the gallery for 5 years. It was an artist-run a studio slash gallery, and we moved locations. So with my time with the artist, she moved into a bigger space. It became an event space. It became a full exhibition space for local artists. So I was doing a lot of things at that time with her. And it was an amazing experience in general. So yes, right from there, I decided, yes, I want to work in commercial galleries world, but what's else? Because I'm always curious. I'm always trying to see what else I can do. And when working with an artist, it was an artist run gallery, I saw the need for her to get help on so many levels, like from business help to marketing help, and even just be there to guide and see what's next, what are the opportunities. And from there, I started my consultation services. And that's where Curator on the Go started. 2015
Okay.
was the official.
That tells me you had like an entrepreneurial spark in you, kind of just trying to figure out what to do with it.
Yeah.
And once you were in the gallery world, you kind of fell in love with the whole vibe of it, I guess. Like just working with the clients, and then from there, would you say that it's been easy to break into that world even more? Because when I think of the art world, especially when you're dealing with high-end galleries, downtown Toronto, that seems kind of hard to get into.
I think it's still a thing. Even myself, when visiting galleries I've never visited, sometimes I can feel intimidated, even though I work in the industry and I know ins and outs of it. I do feel that when getting to a specific level or like working in a prestige gallery, yes, you're getting this factor of like, oh, this is a prestige gallery, so like I respect you more. But for me, like where I worked before or where I am right now, like it doesn't matter which gallery, like I want you to respect me for things I'm doing beyond my job.
How so?
Like, I don't define myself as a successful person because I work in Boshi Gallery, for example.
Right.
I define myself successful because I've been able to achieve what I've achieved so far.
Okay.
Like I have my show, I have my services, I have a community I've built with artists I've been serving for 8 years now.
Yeah. Yeah. So, and people don't always immediately, want to give that kind of recognition.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah. So it takes time.
Yeah.
It takes time. Interesting. Tell us a little bit about what a day in the life of a curator really looks like.
I think it's a broad question in a way because there are so many different types of curators. Like a museum curator might have a totally different day in life. A curator like myself, curator on the go, I'm always on the go. I am never stagnant. I always have a million of things I have to do because I run several businesses, and it also keeps me energized and inspired. If I have a day off, I'm always like, oh, I feel there's something wrong. I have to do something, even if it's just like going outside and listening to another marketing podcast, I will feel better. I still have to do something. So for me, every day is different. If I'm working in a gallery, I work in Boshi full time. So I have 5 days of the week. I will go 9 to 5 there. Because I work right across the AGO, I usually spend my lunchtime or after work time there, just to be close to art again, walk around, see what's new, even though I wish they change exhibition more often. It stays for a while.
How long is a while?
I don't know. Sometimes like I go there and in a year, nothing changed.
Oh, wow.
I feel like they rotate like travel and exhibitions.
Okay.
But the regular collection can stay for a long time.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah. And I think it's the case for a lot of museums too.
True. Yeah.
Yes.
I don't know much about that world, to be honest with you. So when you're working with clients, something that always has boggled my mind is the type of client that's looking for, art curatorial services. Yeah. We're usually talking about corporate. We're also talking about people who have their own individual homes and things like that. Was it always just meeting them through going to the art fairs, going to shows, or like how do you actually market yourself to become attractive to that type of client?
Honestly, for the gallery and meeting collectors for my own business, It started online because I opened the gallery during the pandemic. So everything was through social media, and social media is very powerful. As long as you have enough time and patience to do your posts regularly and be there and show your face, yes. And when I opened my business, so I have to manage 2 accounts right now. So it's a lot of work.
I can relate to that.
But even though I was, and I'm still like, my gallery is just online. Locally, I do visit a lot of clients in person, so I bring a lot of works to their homes. So they do like the special service of like a curator will come to my home, or she already like knows the space and she will make like a personal curation that she has in mind for the pieces, even though like I have a preference for the genre, but I trust her expertise
Right.
to recommend something that will fit well in my space.
I mean, it's a lot like custom framing. Someone puts something on the table and you're navigating both their tastes and also they often want your expertise. And it's almost like a negotiation.
Yes.
A lot of the time where, do you like this? How about this? How about this? And then, you'll share an opinion or, yeah, it's a fun process, honestly.
It is.
Very creative, but also, I mean, with you, you're not really creating something. You're finding the right thing. You're finding that right artist or that right next piece, that kind of thing.
Yeah, it's always an exciting journey, to be honest with you, or experience in general. It also depends on the type of collector. Like usually I like to define my collectors. There are 2 main types. More design-oriented collector, who is more like, I'm just redeveloping my home. I have this like color scheme. I want to find in this specific size, type. I'm like, okay,
That's
I
very
have to follow
specific.
this guidelines, even though let's be more playful and spice up the space.
Right.
And then I have a more passionate collector who is like, oh, I might be building a collection on a specific theme. Like I love figurative arts and I want to collect figurative art from across the globe or locally. So this is more a playful approach. And I think a better approach to buy something you love, whether you have a theme or you don't have a theme. You might find a theme when you already built a collection and you just grow.
Right.
And
Right.
a lot of collectors, other 2 things, some of them will buy everything at once and they're going to live with it forever, hopefully.
Okay.
Hopefully not. They will come for more, or I will have more collectors buying a piece a year and then building their collection over time.
I think it's super important that, I mean, if you're an artist or if you're in any business, you understand your buyer.
Yeah.
And so I think that's really, really important to understand how, as an artist or someone who's creating the work that these collectors are looking for, how are they actually thinking? What are they shopping for? Why are they shopping? Like one thing I notice a lot is it's often triggered by a renovation or something like that. Like it might have nothing to do with the art you made. It's more about the time in their lives that it's appropriate. I know it's not always true, but sometimes that is. It's just quite fascinating why and when people buy art, because it's not like groceries. It's not like you just need them this week. It's usually prompted by something a little more personal. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. I was curious if there's I find that deep flow state is really, really important to getting big work done. Like if I'm just putting out fires all day, every day at the store or whatever, and all the different projects going on, I find it very hard to take time to sit down, work for 1 to 2 hours, 3 hours straight and create. And yet those are the most active, important hours of my day. I was wondering if there's something within your own world that for you is flow state's important, like you're creating and what do you do? How do you find that getting into that time where you really are distraction free?
Yeah, it's a really good question because sometimes it's very, very hard to let yourself sit down and really do the work. My brain is always going around what to do next, but I am more productive in the evenings. It's been like this, starting from university, I will always stay late till 2 in the morning and I will memorize everything way better if I do it at night versus I will wake up earlier. Same with work. I really enjoy after coming home, having a nice dinner, maybe spending some time, I go to the gym, try to go every day after work, maybe take a walk after. So when the sun is going, setting down, 8 o'clock. 8 to 11 is my couple of power hours.
Really? Okay.
Where I'll sit down, I'll put a very nice jazz music or something like that. Sometimes we'll pour some wine, depending. and then just go and do whatever I need to do. I have to do a lot of computer work, so that's why I have to be in the zone. Like either it's updating new inventory for the gallery's website or writing a new newsletter or Instagram posts, whatever I need, or just like reaching out to my collectors, so taking Zoom calls with artists.
Right.
Yes, those will be usually my in the zone flow
So
times.
I'm getting
Yeah.
a picture of a very full schedule here.
Yes.
Very full. So I think you mentioned you work Tuesday to Saturday, and then on Mondays you're also taking clients, and then in the
Yes.
evenings.
Yes.
Yes. Wow, you've got drive.
Yes.
You have a lot of
I
drive.
got a bit lucky, but at the same time not lucky. My husband works weird hours.
Right.
So he works 3 to 11. So there is no one at home. So I have this some time for me to work and be on my own.
Yeah.
Hopefully
yeah.
that changes
Focus
one
time.
day, because I feel like this can also lead to burnout.
Yeah, and actually
And happens from time to time.
you just segued perfectly into
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. You were mentioning how you've actually really forced balance more into your life.
Yes.
Talk
This
a little
year
bit
is
about
the
that.
year.
Yeah. This year. So like since January or?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, I started my new gallery position in January, and
Okay.
for the last 3 years, I was working in a gallery that is also an event space. So I did a lot of events. So I'll work there full time, plus after like 5, 6 o'clock when the gallery has to close, I will stay till 1 in the morning for the event, usually wedding or corporate event, whatever is happening that day.
Yeah.
So I worked like 60 hours a week. Most of the weeks.
That sounds like even that's generous, like probably more sometimes. How did you put yourself into a state where you can actually take time away and create balance for yourself? Or is that still a work in progress?
It's still work in progress, to be honest with you. I hope I will have more opportunities to travel and go away and just shut up my phone and my computer. When I do that, my husband is like, no phone for the week. Like you can check Instagram for 15 minutes in the morning and 15 minutes at night, same for emails. Because I think in our industry in general, in the art world, you're always trying to be on top. You're always a bit of like, I don't want to be in the shadow or not to like show myself, and another person will come. Like I know that like I got to the point where like I know even if I will leave for a year somewhere, I will still have a community. If I come back in a year without like showing myself, I will still have that community. But I think there is this urgency of always being on,
Okay.
always being present.
Okay. Yeah. So that pressure is like pretty
Yes.
much driving you to basically stay as competitive and relevant as you possibly can.
Yes.
So you said you like to go for walks. Do you find that you have a scheduled time to do that? Or do you find that it's just more free? Like you just...
It's more free.
Yeah.
Like I don't
Okay.
drive. I take public transit, so I
Right.
like to walk a lot whenever I
Right.
have an opportunity. My husband gifted me Apple Watch, so I can now count my steps. I really enjoy doing that. And just going on the evening walk, I think that is my favorite part of the day, to be honest with you. It's the time whether like I can either listen to music or listen to a podcast, or sometimes even call my mom, for example, because I always tell her like, I'm busy.
Your mom's back in Russia.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's got to be a pretty big time difference.
Yes.
Yeah.
It is. 15 hours.
Yeah. Wow.
Forward.
Wow. So you're calling her the next day.
Yes.
Yeah. Wow. Incredible. About 5.5 years ago, I found something.
Okay.
About 5.5 years ago, you were, January 2018, you put on your profile that you were Curator on the Go. I was looking at curatoronthego.com in the history, because I often like to do that. Check out, you can go to the Wayback Machine and look back. There was a person who had that domain before you. Did you know that?
No.
Curatoronthego.com.
Who was that person?
It was a car show,
Oh, really?
a traveling car show. He had his own blog. He called himself the Curator on the Go.
Okay.
And what's really weird about this is in January 2018, he put up a post saying, I'm no longer going to be the Curator on the Go.
Never.
I
came across.
have found my dream job. He's going to work with classic cars at a big company. So he was canceling this big tour he was planning. And that was the day that you had put it up, or that month exactly, January 2018. Isn't that wild?
Interesting.
Yeah.
Even though I think my website dated earlier.
Well,
Maybe
take a look at the
not.
Wayback Machine,
Yeah.
because he was definitely using it.
Wow.
It was like exactly that time he
Interesting.
gave up his
Interesting
domain or
facts.
something. I don't know. I just thought it
Yes.
was kind of fun.
Definitely different industries, but
Very, very.
yeah.
Although very much, I'm sure some people are passionate about their cars,
Yes,
like
for
people
sure.
are passionate about their
Yeah.
art. Yeah, definitely. So working for yourself
Mm-hmm.
is really not easy. I know many people in this room can relate to that. And it is not always glamorous. You kind of have to rise to the occasion when things get rough, not to mention the personal lessons we often have to learn just to overcome different obstacles in our lives, right? So I was kind of wondering if there's any big challenges that you've faced that you've had to overcome in order to continue fighting, keep growing, that kind of thing. Major challenges that you've experienced so far.
I think just having the right mindset and understanding that in order to get an opportunity, you need to knock on the door several times. You're not going to get sometimes something right away, sometimes 2, 3, 4, 10 times if you're persistent. Also knowing your self-worth and try not to say yes to as many opportunities as possible because sometimes they're just not going to do good, or sometimes it's just you're doing because you try to be everywhere and you burn out. Same thing. And also working with the right people, I think, because there are a lot of people, especially earlier in my career, who reach out and say, oh, we want to collaborate with you, and then we want everything and we will give you like nothing. And I'm like,
right. You get exposure.
Yeah, why do I need to join you guys? Like,
Yeah.
I know why I'm coming and why you need me. So I think understanding where you put your energy into is really, really important. And it took some time for me to understand that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You can kind of only learn some of those things by experience, I find. You can spin your tires a lot and not get very far.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And knowing what you want to do, what you're passionate about. Because you can be professional, but if you're not passionate, you're not going to go in the like long-term game. You need to like enjoy what you're doing. You need to love what you're doing. Because I feel like what I'm doing right now, there is a saying that like if you enjoy doing what you're doing, you're not working a day in your life. And that's what I feel.
Yeah. Yeah. So even though you're working 6 days a week, it doesn't feel like work.
Not really. Like I'm tired more on a physical level. Like I need a day when I will just like stay in bed all day because I just need to recharge my energy. But I'm always excited to go to work. I'm always excited to see like or curate a new show, meet new client. Like those are the things that I'm passionate about.
Yeah.
And I see the need and I see that unfortunately Canadian art is still on the level that I think is not that great and it could be way better. Seeing and traveling to Europe, to the States. And as an industry person, I want to make the industry better. So that's my bigger goal.
So what kinds of things could further that goal?
Yeah, I do think like I want to show a good example of how curators can work with artists and work as partners. Because I still have a lot of complaints from artists about galleries. And not every gallery is a bad gallery, but there are a lot of bad.
I just spoke to someone this morning about his experience with galleries. He'd been in galleries for years across the country.
Yeah.
And I heard from him that in the old days, it was a lot more straightforward. You'd show, things would work out, or they wouldn't, But now he finds that galleries are constantly trying to tell him what to create, where to be, all that kind of thing. Is that your own experience? Is that like what it should be?
Yeah, it honestly depends on the gallery and the gallery curator owner. Like for myself, I will never tell an artist like this is the style I think I can sell and you just have to paint this style. I always trust the artists and trust their process. And if they change their style, like great. That's a new body of work for me to promote to the collectors. And there will always be a collector for that body of work. So you don't need to work just on your signature style.
Right.
But I do know quite a lot of galleries who will say like, we are good at selling, for example, landscape works. That's what we want. And if you create watercolors, we don't want them. We don't care if that's what you enjoy doing. We just want to sell landscapes. And that's like really bad to hear.
Yeah. Do you think that limits what is possible for our industry in Canada?
I think it's really bad on the artistic level. Like you don't want to have a lot of limits. You want to create, you want to enjoy your time in the studio, and you're working with the gallery because you want to partner. Like as an artist, you're bringing products to a gallery. Like gallery is not going to survive without the artist, but artists can. So gallery owners have to be very smart on how they create this relationship. Because galleries, yes, they provide a lot of services. They provide the place for artists to get exposure and everything. Many of them will have a brick and mortar place that a lot of artists might not have otherwise. But still, like you have to respect people you're working with.
Yeah. So what's your advice to artists who are trying to work with a gallery at this point?
Interview the gallery as much as they interview you. To be honest with you, like you have to go when you have a, for example, in-person meeting, just feel the gallery owner or the gallery curator. Like ask them questions, or even if you like don't have an interview, walk into a gallery and talk to a gallery staff. Ask them questions about the artists. Do they know who they're showing? Do they know the story? Do you feel confident that if your work will be on the walls, they will be able to promote and share your story to whatever client is coming? It can be someone just interested in the arts. It can be a potential collector. And honestly, you never know who that person is. I myself also try not to judge people by how they look or how they talk, or even if they say like, I'm a photographer. Like I had a client recently, we had a really great chat about photography. And then he told me like, I'm also an interior designer. I'm here to buy something for my space. I'm like, okay. I constantly have to like remind myself that anyone walking in the gallery, walking in your artist studio can purchase a piece, whether it's a small piece or a big piece.
Artists are often some of the biggest art collectors.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, that's true.
Yeah, because we love art. Yeah, amen to that. Do you have your sights? I was wondering, and how to phrase this. I was wondering if you have your sights set on any other future projects beyond what you've started, or is it really just about continuing down the path that you're on? You've got your show, you've got your gallery work, and you've got curating clients and individual artist consultations, like plus your own online art gallery. There's a lot going on. So where do you see all of that going over the next several years? And how would you try to maybe build more lifestyle in there for you? Because I know that's something you've been talking about.
Yeah, I definitely don't need another project for sure.
Yeah.
I do have enough on my plate. Bigger picture projects, I was thinking, like, I don't know whether I will open a gallery space soon or not. It's still in the air, but I've been thinking about it. Definitely, I'm thinking to maybe do art fairs for the gallery, whether it's going to be the States or Europe, we'll see. And I've been thinking about writing a book, because I've been in the industry for 8 years. Like I have so many stories to share. Some stories I share through my podcast, but there are so many stories that stay with me. And when I have something interesting, I will come back home and I will write it. Like I will type it on my computer. And I think for the last couple of years, I've piled quite a few interesting things I'm happy to share, and more about like a perspective as a curator working in the industry. Because there are a lot of books written by artists for artists, like this is the things for you to do to succeed in your business. But I think like a perspective more from a curator on different aspects of the industry will be an interesting book to write.
Cool. And so that doesn't sound like less projects. It sounds like more projects. How do you know which ones to actually do at the end of the day? I mean, I ask myself this question. When you have that sort of mind that always wants to come up with the next new thing and very excitable, it can be easy to go down a whole bunch of different rabbit holes. Yeah. How do we choose the ones that are actually right for us? The ones that actually have potential and that we can get really behind?
I honestly prefer not to focus on one. I love to have different opportunities and income streams, because when I don't have that many art sales, for example, on my gallery website, I will have lots of art consultations, and vice versa. I might be busy going around showing artworks to my clients. I will reduce the number of coaching calls I have with my artists. So I like to have different ways and income streams, and spread my passions around versus just stressing out if something is not going to work and I have only one way.
That reminds me of the difference between chess and the game of Go. Has anyone played the game of Go before? So this was given to me. It was like how you look at war is the same as chess and the game of Go. Chess is all straightforward, go for the king, right? And that's very much the European way. The game of Go is the Chinese game, and it's all about surrounding the other players. And that's how war has actually been fought in both sides of the world, the Western and the Eastern ways. It kind of sounds to me like you're taking a surrounding approach to, you're using your passion, but you're spreading it out into multiple different areas rather than just trying to go for one straight thing. I just think that's quite fascinating. It's probably the way that a lot of like great minds or wealthy people have actually built their empires or built their things, like between owning a business, but then also owning real estate or, having some high income paying job. Like they have multiple things going on, I guess.
Yeah, and even when we talk about artists and having different streams of income, like you don't put all your eggs in one basket. You try to diversify all the services or products you're doing. Again, all very personal to the practice and artist and what you're offering. But if you don't need to stress out, like I have this 5 original paintings and I'm not selling this month, like you're going to be stressed. Money is not coming. But what else can you do to have a very happy and sustainable career?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. We've talked a little bit about where you've come from, where you're at now, and where you're going. I'm curious what you think is going on in the industry right now. Are there any trends that you're seeing from your, viewpoint?
I think like after the pandemic, we don't have any new trends because during the pandemic, everything went digital and NFTs and everything. I hate NFTs, to be honest with you.
Interesting.
I get those messages all the time. Like, can I buy your artwork, even though I'm not an artist? Or can I make a portrait of you and make it an NFT? And I'm like, no,
That's
you.
Really weird ask. Like,
yes.
Does anyone say yes? Like, no.
There are so many bots these days on Instagram with those weird messages. But I feel like now, especially this year, how many sales are made in the industry is down, whether it's because of the economy or whatever is happening. So there is a down trend of how many people are acquiring artworks right now. I hope it's just half of the year and it's gonna jump up again, hopefully soon. But again, it's the time where people are able to travel freely because a lot of people still last year didn't travel. And now people just want to like go on vacation, enjoy their life, do their thing. Not as many home renovations, as you mentioned, are happening. They're still happening, but it was a boom during the pandemic. Now people are either, oh, we're still delaying, we're still waiting for our furniture and everything, or I think there are a lot of other things people are doing these days.
Yeah. So what kind of advice are you giving to artists when they're dealing with low sales right now, and how do they maintain or even diversify what they're doing?
Yeah, it's a really good question. I think it's very specific to everyone's practice, to be honest with you. But I think you have to keep going no matter what you do. You shouldn't give up because every other week or so I have a message from an artist saying, should I give up? Should I just like quit completely, find a job, and that's it? I don't want to be an artist anymore. And I'm like, no, you're like already in the industry, like you're enjoying doing what you're doing. Like, do you want to give up on your dreams? Do you want to give up on your flexibility and the way you're living your life? Because going back to regular job, like it's a different experience. Like it's a different world. You don't have your day where you can just start your day anytime you want and things like that. But in terms of sales, I think just strategically pre-planning, what are the opportunities for me to go and show my works? What are the like fairs and events happening? So you have to be smart in pre-planning in advance. Like I need to save X amount of money to do all of these shows I want to do. I have to apply. Like it's not just like you're just sitting on a couch and waiting for people to find your pieces. Like if you're enjoying marketing, like you have to do lots of marketing. Or if you think that you don't want to do that, like try to get into galleries or work with interior designers, curators. There are so many people who are still working in the industry and they might be even a better fit than a gallery. And money-wise, they also take less percentage than a gallery.
And I guess, are there any other ways besides just selling more art that they could?
You mean diversify the product?
Diversifying.
Too? Yeah. Like if you want as an artist, you can sell prints. It's very, very personal too, again.
Yeah.
Some artists are very successful and prints, as we talked, I think 2 weeks ago, right, when we recorded the podcast, that it's an amazing opportunity to tap into the market that might not be available to buy original art.
There's also like workshops as well, like
workshops
different
too.
products that can be done and services that can be offered. Open studios in your home, maybe.
Yeah.
Shooting a show in your home. Well, this has been wonderful. I'm just about out of cue cards, which I'm really grateful for today, but also like I don't want to do this many next time. First time for everything, guys. So I have a couple just quick ones at the end of the day, and we're going to move into a bit of a Q&A period. So audience, you guys have a chance. We're going to take some questions from the audience, and then we'll finish up and we'll close out the show with that. Thank you so much for everything so far today,
Thank
Lisa.
you for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, spontaneous applause. Thanks, guys. So just a couple quick questions, and if anyone has questions afterwards, we'll take maybe 5-10 minutes to take care of that, unless it gets really crazy, and then we can keep going. Any questions for Lisa? Feel free. So I'm going to start with, as a creative entrepreneur, what do you think it takes to be successful?
It takes a lot of dedication, knowing what you want to do, and passion, as I mentioned. Yeah, you have to enjoy what you're doing, no matter what you're doing.
Yeah. Next, what other passions do you have that you have not turned into a job?
Ooh, I love traveling a lot. Who knows, maybe I'll be a travel blogger 10 years from now.
We don't have to turn everything into a job. Okay.
No, someone actually told me,
Yeah.
like they sent me a link to a person on Instagram who travels around the globe and does videos on YouTube of different exhibitions and art fairs.
Okay.
So that's a really cool job.
This kind of works for Curator on the go.
I don't know where I will get all the fans,
Yeah.
all the money to like travel everywhere and
Yeah.
the whole production and everything. So,
Yeah.
but we'll see.
Maybe if you don't live in Toronto, then you can just take all that. That's going to Toronto right now.
And I love sports. So in winter, my husband and I, we snowboard a lot. So I do that. And during the summer, we bike a lot. And we also kayak and paddle boarding.
Right on.
Yes.
Okay, I didn't
so-
realize you had I'm also a snowboarder. It's crazy. I've been teaching my kids this last year.
I love it. I love it.
It's pretty awesome.
Yes.
It's fun. Great. What's more important, passion or professionalism?
Both. They have to go hand
You have
in
to pick
hand.
one.
No.
You heard it here. They're both important. If you hadn't become the curator on the go, what's another career that you might have taken? Something else you might have enjoyed?
I really don't know. Like, it's a really good question because I think I'm still in this status of like, I'm still trying to understand what I want to do and what I want to focus on. Do I want to continue doing everything? Like, as we talked about, I don't know, maybe like I really love cooking too. Who knows? Maybe in my past life or my future life, I will be a chef.
Kitchen on the go.
Yes, kitchen on the go. Okay, that's a good idea.
It's called a food truck. It's like it's been done.
Okay.
Hey,
Yes.
another life. All right, I have one more question, then it's all you guys. How would you like to impact your industry?
I think I touched a little bit on that, but I think I want to make sure that people speak positively about the industry, that there are less bad experiences happening and people are excited and understand the value of original art. Because a lot of people enjoy going to galleries, to museums, but are they in the mood of actually buying fine art? Especially here locally, there's a lot of work to be done
And that's what you
on that
mean when
part.
you say
Yes.
that Canada's art industry could be better.
Yes.
There is I don't think it's like non-existent at all, but we definitely have a long way to go to creating more appreciation for art,
Yeah.
even from a young age with kids. I think
Exactly.
like how much opportunity do they have to explore our own Canadian legends and actually identify with that, right?
Yes.
Make it a part of their lives.
Internet helped and social media helped a lot for people to get more educated on everything that's happening from like in the life of an artist, what artists are doing in the studio, because it's a big mystery. People think that just for an artist, they create a piece in a day, they will sell it, or they might be people say like, my kid can paint this. Why
Right.
do I need to pay that much money? But like
We love hearing that.
Yeah, you appreciate it. Whether you like it or hate it,
Yeah.
you felt something about
Yeah.
it. And that's the reason why we enjoy art. It makes you feel, it makes you think, whatever. Like you just need to surround yourself by art, and it's really important for your well-being. And no matter whether you buy,
Amen.
something that is $500,
Yeah.
you can start small. You always can find a wall for a smaller piece and then grow your collection.
Yes. Yes. My dad said buy one piece a year. Just aim for one piece a year, maybe get it custom framed. And over time, over years, you're going to have quite the collection. All right, everybody, thank you. Lisa.
Thank you.
No pressure, but does anyone have any questions after hearing us chat? Oh my gosh, wow. Just got to breathe for a second there. Thank you so much. We covered a lot. Yeah, does anyone have any questions though? Feel free. Wes.
Do you have a favorite piece of artwork that you like the most?
It's a
Or artist?
like I should have. Can you do this next time?
Yeah. It's a really good question. And honestly, my absolute favorite, there are two actually, Picasso and Van Gogh. Like I started art history, and for me, like seeing all the artworks on the screen was one thing, but when traveling to Europe and seeing everything in real life, like I was crying for the first time. Like I really saw the masterpiece in person. It was a very different experience when seeing Mona Lisa and all the crazy lineup to that.
It's not as big as I thought it was.
No.
It's not very big. It's like this little, like it's practically a 16
Yeah,
by
and
20.
it's covered by like whatever plexiglass or so,
Oh, yeah.
so you don't see it at all.
Yeah, it's probably a very specialized, it's called museum plexiglass. It's that's all they use in that stuff. Yeah. Thankfully, all the cans of soup that were being thrown mostly hit that Optium glass, not the actual
Yeah.
artwork. Yeah, great question. Thank you, Wes. Any other questions?
I have so with everything that you're doing,
Mhm.
and you're doing a lot, and you're busy, you're creating, you're helping artists with, it seems like too much, right? And too much time, and it probably can't go on forever. Where do you see, your kind of career going in the next few years?
Yeah, it's a really good question, and we were talking with Colin about it this afternoon. I'm planning to have some kids soon, and I can't do everything I'm doing right now when my family is bigger. So two ways. Hopefully the first one will be a thing. I will have more people helping me. So I will have some stuff that I can hire and afford hiring so I can continue doing what I'm doing. Or I will have to choose, but I prefer not to choose.
Yeah, big choices. good question.
Do you know your human design? Do you know what a human design is? Oh, okay. Well, it's an astrological thing. But I would say you're a manifesting generator, and you probably aren't, so you can't understand how someone can do 10 things at once.
Yeah.
I'm a manifesting generator.
Yes.
You have been in the industry for almost 30 years, and you can do it all. You just need to take those things in your head, and stop. Like, people will tell you you can't, but you know you can.
Yeah.
You.
Thank you.
Because people will tell you from their own experience what's possible and not possible, but that's their own reflection. If you're inspired to do it,
Mm-hmm.
And you're supported about good people who believe in you, then
Yeah.
Mhm.
It's always different. Like, I will have people who say, like, you're not doing enough. And I'm like, really? I turned 30 this year, and people like, how do you feel? And I'm like, I don't know. Like, I feel like I've accomplished a lot for my age, but I'm still on that level. Like, I still aim bigger. Like, it's not where I want to stop. But I have people say, like,
Yeah.
like, there are so many other things you need to do. And I'm like, you tell me what I need to do.
Sure, you just go do
Yeah.
that then after that for me. Yeah. It's not a race. It's not a rush. It's
No.
you all do it in your own time. Yeah.
well, I have a question for you.
Rhonda.
So you're 30. You're so such a baby. So much more you're gonna do. I can't wait to see what it all.
Oh, I remember 30.
I don't want to remember 30. My question, okay, so today you and I had the privilege of sitting and chatting with you, which was lovely, thank you. And I had said to you that before I came, I was doing a mentor thing with a group of kids from grade school. And part of the idea was they were coming to spend time with me because most people tell everyone, oh, you'll never make a living doing art. What would you say to the grade 8 students that I had today? What would your advice be to like kids that are like they're at a point in their career or in grade 8? I don't imagine how you're supposed to be able to say, I'm going into high school now and I have to pick a stream of what I'm going to do for the rest of my life, which is what they're told to do. What would you say to them?
I would say that you need to find your passion. Going back to passion, I don't know why I'm so focused on this. And also not to feel pressured that you need to find that one thing and you will have to do it for the rest of your life, because you can always change. Even if you select one thing in the university, you can always change majors. And even after finishing your program, maybe you will find a job in a totally different industry. And then that is when you understand that that's what you want to do. So mostly it's from experience that you learn. And you can find your passion when you're 50. Like, it's not age restriction of like you need to be 17 and know everything you want to do in life. It was like that, like back at home when I was growing up. Like when you were graduating from high school, you need to know exactly like this is the year I will marry. This is how many kids I will have. This is my profession. And back home, like you have to have kids when you're like 21, 22. Like
Wow.
It's very different here.
Wow. I think, yeah, that's a world of difference.
Yes.
Because a lot of folks just decide not to have them at all, or in their 30s, and it's just all over the place.
Yeah.
I guess we're maybe a little less expectant of that.
And another thing, find a mentor. Because I think that's important. If you like an industry or thinking about doing something in that stream, find someone. It can be a family member, or I think like for creatives, it's easier. You can find a mentor easily, but still someone you can just spend a day with and see, do you like it? Do you see people like what they do? Do they feel stressed? Do you want to be in this position?
I wish children had more opportunities for that. We have them in school all day, every day, and then we tell them to know what they want to do with themselves. And all they know is school. Like, where do you get the opportunity to go and experience the things and find out how that makes you feel or what you think you're good at? Like, I think passion is a combination of both what you enjoy, but also what you're naturally capable of. Like, you can be passionate about a lot of things. I'm passionate about movies, but does that mean I'm good at making them? That kind of thing. I like watching them, I can go sit there all day. There's a job that'll pay you to do that. Let's go. But yeah, like kids. Yeah. And to your point earlier, you know, if you have kids and you're trying to do it all, do your passions with your kids. Like, don't just share them. Don't just show them. Like let's do this together. Let's go, you know? And I think if anything, they're just going to learn what passion looks like and find their own a lot easier. Yeah.
What tips do you have for women who want to become entrepreneurs or who want to join the art industry?
That's a really good question. Don't be afraid to be bold and be different. Don't be afraid to not be enough at the beginning, because you are always not going to be enough for someone. There will always be people like that. And have some role models you admire, but also try to see the things that maybe they're not doing or not doing enough, and how you can be different, and find the niche you can be in and can be different in.
Good question. Good answer.
I have a question for you, and I want to manifest that after all this artistic energy that I'm able to be a part of, that maybe I'll sell a big painting tomorrow.
Yay!
Put it in the universe. Let's go.
Proceeds, manifest this. I'm going to buy a ticket to somewhere in the world, and I love your thirst for everything art and travel. So my question is, where would you send me to immerse myself in one of your favorite city art experiences?
Paris. It's a bit of a cliche, but honestly, if you enjoy going to galleries and museums, that's the place. Plus, good cheese and wine.
Yeah.
And food. Yeah. But honestly, if you enjoy walking around and just enjoy like losing yourself around, that's the place. And go on your own if you can, because I took my husband last time. He was like, no, stop. We had like 5 different galleries a day, and he's like, I can't. No.
He didn't know what he was getting into that day.
Thank you. I appreciate an excuse to travel.
It's for my career.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Write it off. Great. Any other questions or thoughts? Well, I'll make some kind of a closing statement now. Guys, this was so scary. I'm editing this part out. Oh my God. Thank you. Thank you so much for being here. I did my best. But wow, was it fun too. This is really cool. Let's party afterwards. All right. I didn't write that. It's fine.
Just wrap it up. You know how to do it.
Watch this. Thank you so much for joining our world premiere of Prolific. It has been my absolute pleasure to be your host, and thank you so much to Lisa for joining us.
Thank you, Colin.
Our next episode will be July 13th, and guest TBD, but I have a few good ones in the wings. Until that time, be bold, be creative, be prolific. Thanks, everyone. Yay! Hey, we did a thing. Let's go.
Yeah, let's.
I'll get this thing off.
I've got lots.
Yeah?
My freaking head. All right, thank you, Jackson. Oh yeah, let's give it up for Jackson. I know I'm gonna start here. That's the worst time. Nothing I've ever done did I find